This is the first video in our series on using ResearchGate to build an international profile. ResearchGate is an academic social network, so in this first video I'll introduce to you what an academic social network is. So an academic social network, and I might call it an ASN, is an online platform. So you go to a website and it is for use by researchers. They all have slightly different focuses, slightly different features, but they share some characteristics. So one is that they all provide each member with a profile. So you'll have an individual page that is the introduction to you. They will allow researchers to connect in some way. So they may allow researchers to comment on other people's work. They may allow private messages or public messages. And finally, the ASNs allow researchers to share information about their work as researchers, about their publications and their projects and things that they are engaging in. So in Japan, the most commonly used academic social network is ResearchMap. If you are a researcher in Japan, you probably have an account. If you are applying for any KAKEN grants, then I think you must have an account. So it's very widely used in Japan. It is also used by funders. So they may look at profiles and to decide whether a particular project gets funded. And increasingly, institutions are also using ResearchMap to help them in their evaluation of researchers. So it's really important for many researchers to keep their ResearchMap profile up to date. So if you're not familiar with ResearchMap, this is my profile. What you'll see is lots of tabs here, and each click here will bring everyone to information about my research. So the research areas, my areas of interest here. There'll be research history. If I've published some papers, I'll put them up here so people can see what I'm up to. I can also connect with my co-authors and I can find other researchers. ResearchMap is available in Japanese and English, but to be a member, you do need to be affiliated with a Japanese university. So you need an .ac.jp email address. So it means that as an academic social network, ResearchMap is a domestic ASN, so it's not international. There are a number of international academic social networks. Perhaps ResearchGate and academia.edu are the most commonly used in terms of the number of members. Google Scholar also might be considered an ASN depending on the definition that we use, but it allows us to share our information about our publications. The networking feature is probably not as strong in Google Scholar. There are also other sites that are perhaps not technically academic social networks. They're broader in their focus, but they are used to connect academics. So Mendeley and Zotero are both platforms that are used to organize literature. So we collect maybe thousands of papers that we have to read for our research, and it gets very messy. So these platforms allow us to organize those papers. But they also have some functions which allow researchers to share and connect. LinkedIn also is widely used by professionals, not just academics, but people in the business world or outside of academia. It's mainly focused on finding job opportunities, sharing and finding jobs. But again, it's often used by researchers and they connect in different ways. And we also have general social networks. So these are networks that are open to anybody. They're often used to connect friends and family. But these days, they are also a tool that some researchers use in order to connect with each other and also to share their research with the broader public. So you might see on Twitter lots of researchers sharing their publications. They might be asking for advice and getting lots of advice too. You may see Facebook groups, for example, on Facebook that look at particular research issues or challenges in academia. And you might also see scientists on TikTok making short videos that are interesting and making their science accessible to the broader public. So again, these are not technically ASNs, but they are social networks that are used increasingly by researchers across the world. So if we think about the 4 functions of academic social networks, why should we use ASNs? Munker has identified 4 functions. The first of those functions is research dissemination. So we want to share our research with other researchers. This is especially important these days where it's been quite difficult to attend international conferences. It's also good for early career researchers who might not have the funds to get themselves to international conferences. But it's a chance to share our research with lots of people around the world. And so because researchers are sharing, it means we can also access their research. And this is particularly important for researchers who don't have access to sometimes very expensive international literature databases. So this is a chance for researchers to get access to papers, publications, information that they might not be able to otherwise. Networks, of course, is really important. It's in the name, academic social network. So as we engage in an academic social network, and depending on what we share and what research we look at, we are also given, using the algorithms, access to information about other research, and we can see other researchers. We can connect with them in different ways. That might be through commenting on their work. It might be through public messages or private messages. We might be able to ask questions and get answers. This is actually really important for international collaborations. I have myself contacted researchers who I knew through ResearchGate and talked about their work and got a conversation going, and I have collaborated with researchers who I have met through ResearchGate. So it's a really important tool for some researchers. And finally is about reputation building. Credibility is really important in academia. We want to show that we have expertise so that we can get the funding that we need to do the research that we want to do. And so being able to share the research and building our credibility with funders and with other researchers is another important function of the ASN. So ResearchGate is one of the ASNs that is available to researchers all around the world, and we will talk about what ResearchGate is in the next video, so I hope to see you there.